Welcome back, treasure hunters. Today we're diving into one of the most shocking and secretly valuable coins hiding in plain sight. The top 5 most valuable and most expensive Jefferson nickel from the Denver Mint, and without mintmark coin. This tiny 5-cent piece, linked to America's bicentennial legacy and Thomas Jefferson's Monticello, has been selling for unbelievable prices when found in rare, high-grade, or aerostrike condition. Don't blink, because what looks like an ordinary nickel could be the very coin that turns your pocket change into a powerful profit. Stay tuned. This could be the most eye-opening discovery in your coin journey. Let's get started. First up in the 1989, Jefferson Nickel stands as a fascinating and highly collectible piece that continues to capture the attention of serious collectors worldwide. Bearing the image of Thomas Jefferson, one of America's founding fathers and principal author of the Declaration of Independence, this coin is more than just a 5-cent piece. It represents an enduring legacy of American ideals and craftsmanship. The Denver Mint's 1989 issue, marked with the letter D, has gained exceptional attention in recent years for a few ultra-rare varieties and mint errors that have surfaced in top-grade conditions. These few coins, especially when preserved in pristine or uncirculated state, have been known to command impressive prices at auctions, often far exceeding their face value. Today, the 1989 Jefferson Nickel serves as both a historical artifact and a tangible link between the nation's bicentennial spirit and modern American minting precision. The Jefferson Nickel series began in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel, with the design chosen through a national competition. By 1989, the coin had already been in production for over 5 decades, making it one of the most recognizable coins in U.S. circulation. The 1989 Jefferson Nickel was minted at the Denver Mint, which produced hundreds of millions of coins that year. However, despite its seemingly ordinary issue, certain dies used during this period displayed minute but extraordinary variations, creating rare collectible specimens. The coin symbolizes the continuation of the Monticello-themed reverse design, connecting it to Jefferson's Virginia estate and the broader legacy of American architecture and Enlightenment ideals. The late 1980s also marked a transitional period in U.S. minting technology, bridging traditional engraving methods with computer-assisted design systems, which makes this particular year's coinage historically significant to collectors who appreciate numismatic evolution. The obverse of the 1989 Jefferson Nickel features a left-facing bust of Thomas Jefferson, designed by sculptor Felix Schlag, who won the 1938 competition. The engraving captures Jefferson's dignified expression and intellectual aura, with inscriptions reading, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date 1989. The D mint mark, placed just after the date, indicates its origin from the Denver Mint. On the reverse, the coin proudly displays Jefferson's home, Monticello, accompanied by the inscriptions E Pluribus Unum, United States of America, and 5 cents. Struck in a 75% copper and 25% nickel composition, the coin has a diameter of 21.2 millimeters and a weight of 5.00 grams. What sets the 1989 D issue apart are certain die cracks, double die obverse varieties, and full step examples, which are extremely rare. Coins exhibiting full steps, FS, on Monticello's staircase are particularly valuable, as they indicate exceptional strike quality and die clarity. Although the overall mintage of the 1989 Jefferson Nickel was high, estimated at over 600 million pieces, the true rarity lies in the quality of preservation and error-free striking. Most circulated examples display wear dull luster and soft details, making full-step specimens exceptionally rare and desirable. Collectors also prize coins with visible die varieties, such as double die obverse, DDO, and die cracks along Jefferson's cheek or the Monticello dome. High-grade coins graded MS-67 and above by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC are extremely scarce. The survival rate of perfectly struck and well-preserved coins is astonishingly low, and it's these examples that command the highest premiums in the numismatic market. The difference between an average circulated 1989 D nickel and a gem-quality specimen can easily mean the difference between a few cents and several hundred or even $1,000. The 1989 Jefferson Nickel exhibits a wide range of values depending on its grade, strike quality, and any notable die varieties. Circulated coins generally hold minimal monetary value, typically worth 5 to 25 cents. However, uncirculated coins graded MS65 may fetch $5 to $15, while those in MS66 to MS67 full steps condition can soar to $150 to $1,000 or more, depending on demand and rarity. Certain mint era varieties, such as off-center strikes, double die obverse, or broad strikes, have been documented to sell at auctions for up to $2,000 to $5,000. Moreover, collectors are increasingly drawn to this year because of its transitional minting history, giving it a small but steady rise in market value over time. The combination of historical relevance, rarity in condition, and collector enthusiasm continues to drive its long-term appreciation potential. For collectors seeking to add a 1989 D. Jefferson Nickel to their portfolio, attention to detail and grading is essential. When examining coins, always look for strong, crisp details on Jefferson's hair and Monticello's steps, as these are key indicators of a high-quality strike. Consider sending coins to professional grading services such as PeaceGS, NGC, or Anax to obtain certification and authentication, which can significantly enhance both value and buyer confidence. When handling nickels, avoid touching their surfaces directly to prevent oil transfer or damage. Use cotton gloves or coin tongs. Proper storage in airtight holders or climate-controlled coin cases can prevent oxidation and preserve the coin's original luster. For acquisition, reputable numismatic dealers, coin shows, and certified online auctions offer the safest routes. Joining collector communities or Jefferson Nickel societies can also provide valuable networking opportunities and early access to rare listings. The 1989 D. Jefferson Nickel represents the enduring legacy of American democracy and ingenuity. The depiction of Jefferson and Monticello connects directly to the nation's ideals of freedom, innovation, and education. For many collectors, owning this coin is not merely about monetary gain. It's about preserving a piece of living history. The Jefferson Nickel series has remained one of the longest-running coin series in U.S. history, and the 1989 D issue embodies both the classic artistry of Felix Schlag's design and the minting precision of modern America. As the hobby of coin collecting continues to grow globally, coins like the 1989 D. Jefferson Nickel remind enthusiasts of the craftsmanship and cultural continuity that make numismatics a lifelong passion. The 1989 D. Jefferson Nickel is far more than an ordinary 5-cent coin. It's a small but powerful symbol of American artistry, history, and perseverance. Its appeal lies in the combination of historical depth, aesthetic detail, and investment potential. While the majority remain common in circulation, the few high-grade and error-struck pieces stand out as ultra-rare numismatic gems, commanding impressive prices among dedicated collectors. Whether preserved as part of a complete Jefferson Nickel collection or showcased as a standout rarity, the 1989 D issue continues to demonstrate how even modern-era coins can hold profound significance. Its blend of elegance, legacy, and rarity ensures that this remarkable piece of U.S. minting history will continue to inspire admiration and demand for generations to come. Next up to in the 1981 P. Jefferson Nickel does not visually scream wealth, yet at the pinnacle of the grading scale and in ultra-select varieties, it has delivered unexpectedly strong results in the modern coin market. Unlike 19th-century rarities that telegraph their value through age alone, the 1981 P is a working-class coin that acquired elite status only through state of preservation rarity and extreme condition scarcity. Collectors chase it not because millions weren't made, but because virtually none survived with untouched mint frost, flawless metallic surfaces, and fully defined design strikes. That paradox, common coin/rare condition, is precisely why deep pocket registry collectors pay aggressively. The 1981 P. Nickel belongs to the later life of the classic Monticello series that began in 1938. There was no commemorative motive, no special anniversary, and no limited issue pretext. It was a conventional year, which is exactly the point. Nobody saved them. Coins minted without a special reason tend to be spent and abused immediately, wiping out pristine survivors. That economic psychology creates artificial rarity decades later once collectors begin competing for the finest. The obverse bears Felix Schlag's enduring left-facing Jefferson with In God We Trust, Liberty, and Date. The reverse carries the architectural frontage of Monticello, a design extremely vulnerable to strike weakness. The 1981 P is notorious for inconsistent pressure. Many coins show soft detail on steps, roof line, and columns. That means a coin with sharp, uninterrupted steps and unmarred fields stands out dramatically. In metal terms, it is standard nickel alloy, but in visual terms, a top-grade 1981, P looks almost proof-like if preserved. Tens of millions were minted, but when graders push into the MS-66 and MS-67 tier, certified populations collapse to tiny numbers. Full steps designations, 5FS or 6FS, slash survival even further, as a single scrape or weak impression can destroy eligibility. This is not rarity by mintage, this is rarity by perfection. And registry set collectors must compete inside those top few slots, which turns low population holders into financial weapons. A raw circulated 1981 P nickel is face value only. But certified MS-66 to MS-67 full steps examples can command hundreds to low thousands of dollars, especially when population is in single digits for that grade tier. Verified dramatic mint errors, double die reverses, off-center strikes, broad strikes, struck-throughs, further pull four-figure results in high grade. Past auction data confirms that ordinary date Jeffersons can repeatedly outperform older coins simply because of registry scarcity and bitter competition at the top. Certification by PCGS or NGC is mandatory for value retention in this date. When cherry-picking, do not get hypnotized by luster alone. Step detail and contact-free fields are the price engine. Use magnification to screen for hairlines and ticks before submission. Store only in inert holders and remove fingerprints risk entirely. For sourcing, estate bulk bags can still harbor sleepers, but registry-grade pieces are almost exclusively transacted through auction houses and top-tier dealers. The 1981 P nickel, such a psychological outlier, is that its certified population curve behaves like a semi-key date, even though the raw supply was enormous. When one studies PCGS and NGC POP reports, the shape of the graph is unmistakable. Graded examples flood the mid-MS levels, then collapse on nickels were numismatically ignored, treated like utilitarian expendables, not treated like future rarities. Only in the last 12 to 18 years did the registry culture and population transparency bring late 20th century nickels into the light. That means the 1981 P has not yet had a century of academic or collecting pressure. It is a late discovery rarity, still undergoing price discovery. Early-stage price discovery tends to be volatile. This is exactly the window in which strong gains occur, because the market is still adjusting to the revelation that perfect examples are finite and already absorbed into holders. The 1981 P demand is not driven by patriotic nostalgia or historic narrative. It is driven by the mathematics of scarcity combined with competitive ego. Registry builders compete publicly on leaderboards. They cannot explain that their set is great. It must be numerically provable via grade. That creates a predictable behavioral engine. When 2 or 3 advanced collectors need the same top-grade date to maintain or upgrade standings, the price detaches from prior history and becomes auction-driven. The coin's value therefore rests less on its past and more on a competitive race in the 1981. P is still in the early phase of its market identity. Submissions will continue, but coins that have been in circulation for 40-plus years seldom grade into the apex group. Time is a destroyer, not a helper. Meanwhile, registry competition intensifies yearly, not weakens. That asymmetry, decreasing fresh supply and increasing competitive demand, is classically bullish. For collectors willing to hold a certified elite example, the long arc favors appreciation, not contraction, because modern series are only now being priced as finite, not infinite. The 1981 P nickel's elite scarcity is pure attrition. These coins were issued to live hard lives. They rode in vending machines, mass transit coin acceptors, cash drawers, and millions of pockets during a period of heavy physical currency use. That 40-year attrition period is not neutral. Each scratch, rim bump, abrasion, and chemical fingerprint effectively kills a coin from ever competing at the top. The longer a coin circulates, the lower the ceiling of what it could ever grade. Thus, condition rarity is not accidental. It is engineered by time itself. The 1981 P nickel demonstrates the transformation of modern numismatics. A coin is not valuable because someone claims it. It becomes valuable only after a third-party grading body certifies its superiority. Without a slab, even a gem coin is merely a claim. With a slab, it becomes a verified financial instrument in the collecting economy. For this date especially, certification is not a formality. It is the dividing line between pocket change and asset class. As more collectors refuse to buy uncertified moderns at high prices, certification is no longer optional. It is structural. The top-grade 1981 P nickel forces collectors to confront an uncomfortable truth. Not all wealth in coins lives in old metal. Sometimes the rarest and most aggressively bid specimens are sitting inside dates the average public believes are meaningless. That inversion, the idea that something minted in the 1980s could eclipse older dates in price, is what makes this issue intellectually attractive and financially interesting. It represents a new category of modern-era investment-grade rarity born not of low mintage, but of extreme survival failure at the microscopic grading level. The 1981 P lives inside a marketplace truth that advanced numismatists know and casual viewers miss. The most expensive modern nickels are not rare because they are old, they are rare because they are perfect. When a date is widely believed to be common, few bother to preserve it, guaranteeing future condition scarcity. That delayed scarcity tends to appreciate faster than coins that were hoarded from birth. The 1981 P. Jefferson Nickel in ultra-high grade or rare error form is a case study in modern series wealth creation. Massive mintage, microscopic survival in elite condition, and auction room competition that pulls ordinary metal into luxury territory. For collectors building complete Jefferson ladders or registry sets, this date is no afterthought. It is a gatekeeper date that enforces financial seriousness. And as submission rates slow and populations stabilize, high-tier examples are positioned to remain premium assets in the Jefferson segment for years to come. Next up in the 1964 no-mintmark Monticello nickel occupies a paradoxical place. It is the single most common date in the series in raw mintage volume, yet some tiny subpopulations of this year command astonishing premiums in today's market. This coin is often the moment when novice hobbyists first realize that rare does not always mean low mintage. Sometimes value is born from great extremity, strike quality, special finish varieties, and survival rarity at the top tiers. For investors and registry set competitors, a microscopic fraction of 1,964 no-mintmark nickels, specifically in flawless or near-flawless condition, are treated as trophy pieces, just as aggressively pursued as genuinely low-mintage earlier nickels. The 1964 Jefferson nickel was struck at the Philadelphia Mint during a strange inflection point in U.S. coinage history. The U.S. Mint was confronted with a national coin shortage tied to expanding commercial activity and hoarding patterns following the silver removal debates approaching 1965. To compensate, the Mint issued huge quantities of 1,964 nickels, nearly $1.02 billion at Philadelphia, delaying the move to dated coins of later years until the supply stabilized. Though not a commemorative in the strict sense, the 1964 issue is historically linked to the last year before the clad metal transitional period permanently transformed U.S. coinage philosophy and production strategies. The 1964 Jefferson nickel maintains Felix Schlag's dual composition. The obverse featuring Jefferson facing left with crisp hair styling, collar detail, and the mottos "In God We Trust" and "Liberty," while the reverse centers Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia estate, beneath "E Pluribus Unum" and United States of America. The planchet is standard, 75% copper and 25% nickel, 21.2 millimeters diameter and 5 grams weight. What becomes visually transformative at the top end is not the design itself, but the combination of full step strike definition on the Monticello steps, freedom from die fatigue, and original mint brilliance, which almost never survived intact from this high-output mintage. Because over 1 billion pieces were churned out in a rush, dies were often overused, producing weak strike detail and surface abrasions. As a result, true full steps, FS, examples from 1964, P and ultra-premium grades are a statistical anomaly. Most surviving coins entered commerce and endured decades of pocket abuse. Thus, the rarity today is survival rarity of condition, not mintage rarity. A 1964 P. Jefferson in raw circulated form is common to the point of ubiquity. A piece GS or NGC certified MS66. MS67 full-step specimen becomes, in numismatic reality, an elite investment class object with near-zero supply pressure relief. Ordinary circulated 1964 nickels are worth face value. Even attractive uncirculated pieces typically trade in the $1 to $20 window. But once you cross into the upper certified echelons, the market transforms dramatically. Certified MS-66 FS coins from 1964 peak and trade in the hundreds to low thousands of dollars, while MS-67 FS examples, if and when one appears, have achieved auction realizations in the mid-4 to low five-figure range, depending on appeal and bidding context. Registry set rivalry, not casual collecting, is the driver. Steady upward movement over the last 15 years confirms that the market treats superior grade 1964 P full steps nickels as finite investment inventory with no future supply because such coins cannot be manufactured, only discovered. The path to value begins with strike evaluation and certification discipline. Focus first on sharp Monticello steps, all 6 fully separated with no bridging or chatter. Use angled lighting and magnification to detect hairline disruptions. Submit only potential high-end coins to PCGS or NGC, not raw sales. Avoid storage in PVC flips. Use inert holders and low-humidity environments. Acquisition strategies should include watching heritage auctions, great collections events, and slabbed third-party dealer inventories, not casual eBay lots. The top fields of the market circulate through professional venues, not flea market channels. One reason high-grade 1964 P. Jefferson Nickels behave like financial assets rather than curiosities is the registry set psychology behind them. Collectors who compete in PCGS or NGC Microsoft-level leaderboards are not merely assembling a run. They are competing for visible rank, a public scoreboard of prestige. When 2 elite collectors both need a top-pop 1964 P full steps example to complete or defend a set, the bidding ceases to reflect numismatic logic and converts into status acquisition behavior, often pushing prices multiple times above published guides. That psychological premium, the willingness to overpay to remove an item from competitor access, is a unique force in the ultra-rare Jefferson Nickel market. Another subtle driver of value is not just numerical grade, but surface originality, which experienced collectors place above raw numerical label. A coin with perfect untouched luster, natural patina, and no signs of dip or conservation can outperform a nominally equal grade example. For 1964, P nickels, which often exhibit bag scuff, hazy toning, or post-mint cleaning attempts, truly original surfaces are rare in the absolute sense. Coins that survived 6 decades without chemical or mechanical interference belong to a micro-subset of authenticity purity, which the market increasingly rewards as conservation awareness rises and overprocessed coins lose long-term desirability. The long-term performance characteristics of these high-end Jefferson Nickels are particularly attractive to strategic collectors who position them as slow-burn scarcity assets. Unlike gold or bullion play, whose value vacillates on metal markets, elite conditional rarities like 1964 PFS nickels respond primarily to demographic turnover among serious numismatists, registry demand cycles, and the permanent destruction of supply through mishandling, breakouts, or loss. Because new supply cannot enter the market, and because competitive collecting has become more visible in the digital era, the long-term slope of prices tends to show ratchet patterns. Flat periods followed by sudden aggressive jumps when a population event or major auction awakens demand. The 1964 P. Jefferson Nickel is the last old mindset nickel of the pre-transition monetary world, a coin that inadvertently became a cultural time capsule. It represents the U.S. Mint's response to economic pressure, pre-clad economic anxieties, and the end of an era when date changes and output policies still followed old patterns. As younger collectors increasingly pursue coins with historical narrative plus elite grading challenge, this issue has begun to assume the dual identity of a teaching specimen and a trophy specimen. Its appeal lies not in age alone, but in the convergence of history, perfection rarity, and institutional collector psychology, a convergence that gives it structural staying power in the future of American numismatics. The 1964 no-mint-mark Jefferson Nickel teaches one of the most foundational lessons in advanced American numismatics. Rarity is a function of conditioned scarcity within a defined year, not just how many were minted. In high-certified states with full strike characteristics, this otherwise common nickel becomes a blue-chip trophy coin with stable long-horizon appreciation, significant registry pressure, and genuine prestige among Jefferson specialists. It is simultaneously a historical artifact of a stressed minting era and a modern technical-grade battleground for competitive collectors. A coin whose best surviving examples will only grow more culturally and financially significant as time further eliminates unimpaired specimens. Next up in the 1941 Philadelphia issue, with no mint mark, occupies a quietly powerful place in the market because it balances age, series importance, and conditional rarity in a way that few World War-era nickels do. While millions were made, only a razor-thin fraction survive in ultra-high grade with original luster intact. Those top survivors, particularly full steps, FS examples, have commanded serious four-figure and even occasional five-figure results at major auction houses. For that reason, this coin is watched carefully by registry competitors, niche Jefferson specialists, and investment-grade numismatists who understand that rarity often lives not in extinction, but in gradational scarcity. The 1941 no-mint mark Jefferson Nickel was struck at the Philadelphia Mint on the eve of the U.S. entry into World War II. It represents the final full nickel alloy production year before wartime metal reallocation began. Silver, war nickels, started in late 1942. That means this coin is part of the last uninterrupted pre-war run of traditional copper-nickel metallurgy in the Jefferson series. Unlike the bicentennial commemoratives of later decades, it doesn't mark an official anniversary. Its importance is embedded in the timing of history, minted during the last calm before national mobilization. The obverse features Felix Schlag's portrait of Thomas Jefferson, with Liberty and In God We Trust arranged in his characteristic pre-modernist lettering. The reverse shows the Monticello elevation, simple, symmetrical, architectural, and notoriously difficult to strike with full steps, which later became the key grade premium marker. The 1941 Philadelphia strikes are known for soft reverses, meaning truly sharp versions are visually dramatic in hand. Composition is the standard 75% copper/25% nickel, diameter 21.2 millimeters, weight 5.0 g. In high mint state with booming, untouched cartwheel, the coin stops a seasoned collector in their tracks. The raw mintage was heavy, over 203 million coins. So population rarity is not about survival count, but grade condition math. Most 1941 P nickels circulated to exhaustion. Highly original mint state examples with undisturbed surfaces are scarce. Full steps, 5FS or 6FS, survivors, the market's top pedigree layer, are dramatically rare, often representing less than a sliver of a percent of the surviving population. Strike weakness in this year makes clean, unabraded high MS FS certification a genuine scarcity. The kind of scarcity that translates into price shock. Top pop registry FS examples can and have crossed $10,000 to $20,000 plus in headline results. Demand in the FS sector is anchored by registry competition, and registry bidders do not think in small increments when going for population topper material. Buy only certified pieces for any coin above mid-MS. NGC and PeaceGS are market trusted for Jeffersons and control auction confidence. Always scrutinize. A. Step sharpness under direct light. B. Surface originality versus dipping or wipe. C. Contact marks on the cheek or Monticello fields. For storage, use inert capsules or slab vaulting with humidity control. Nickel shows rub quickly if mishandled. Acquisition should be done through reputable dealers, vetted auction records, or trusted advanced collectors. Not blind marketplace listings which bury hairlines and soft strikes behind bad photography. Serious Jefferson Nickel collectors favor coins that combine early run tradition, metal purity pre-war, registry difficulty, FS scarcity, and historical period proximity to World War II, all boxes this coin checks. It is also a challenge coin in the purest numismatic sense. Widely available in junk quality, brutally rare in elite quality. That asymmetry produces long-term liquidity and tension in pricing. Exactly what a collector wants in a series cornerstone point. One of the most under-discussed drivers of price in this specific issue is competition psychology inside bid rooms. Registry participants do not bid according to retail math. They bid according to the fear of missing the only specimen they might see for years. When a certified MS66 or MS67 full steps 1941 P crosses the block, there may be only 2 or 3 global bidders capable of purchasing it, and those few bidders almost always know of each other. That awareness creates a pressure environment that routinely pushes the hammer price beyond conservative price guides. It is not that the coin is worth more in theory. It is that scarcity activates aggressive bidding behavior that becomes the new baseline. Unlike speculative modern issues whose prices can collapse when hype cools, the 1941 nickel possesses intrinsic structural value ingredients. Pre-war metallurgy, early series status, long-standing demand across decades, and population bottlenecks enforced by physical reality rather than temporary fashion. Those attributes give the coin what investors call value durability. Even if the market softens in a broad economic downturn, the top-end full-step certified population does not expand, which means its premium tier remains supply-fixed while demand resumes with every new generation of registry competitors. That stability is why serious long-horizon collectors trust the coin as a store of numismatic capital rather than a gamble. Another reason values have held and grown over time is transparency. Population census data from PeaceGS and NGC show precisely how few high-grade full-step survivors exist. Buyers are no longer purchasing on rumor. They are purchasing with certificate numbers, photos, and census counts in front of them. That transparency reduces perceived risk and increases buyer willingness to pay aggressively, especially for top-of-population slabs with strong provenance. In other words, the very act of third-party documentation converts rarity into bankable value, turning a historically common date, nickel, into a tightly quantified high-end collectible. Some coins attract collectors for their art, some for their history, some for their investment trajectory. The 1941 Jefferson Nickel in high-grade unites all three categories. Philosophical collectors appreciate it as a pre-war national artifact minted on the brink of global upheaval. Aesthetic collectors admire the challenge of finding a razor-clean early strike with full architectural clarity. Financially minded collectors see capped supply, auction-validated demand, and registry pressure that repeatedly injects liquidity. When a single coin satisfies multiple motives simultaneously, it becomes not merely collected, but competed for, which is precisely why this humble date has produced shocking hammer prices and will almost certainly continue to do so. The 1941 no-mint-mark Jefferson Nickel is not valuable because it is rare in the casual sense. It is valuable because the market understands the brutal math of perfection scarcity. In top-certified FS strike, it is fully capable of commanding five-figure money and standing among the price leaders of the entire early Jefferson decade. For both seasoned registry competitors and new investors looking for pre-war U.S. metal with upside, this coin delivers. Historically rooted, visually pure, condition-sensitive, and still trending up whenever a truly elite specimen enters the auction stage. Next up to in the 1964 no-mint-mark Monticello nickel, especially when found in spectacular, investment-grade condition. Although millions were struck, the ultra-premium specimens that escape bag marks, environmental wear, planchet flaws, or weak strikes are rare beyond casual expectation. The coin has earned strong demand among registry collectors, investors, and typeset builders who seek the highest certified survivors. Its special relevance today comes not from novelty or commemorative status, but from the market truth that condition rarity transforms even common coins into expensive trophies when perfection intersects with demand. The year 1964 was pivotal in U.S. monetary history. The country was in the throes of a national coin shortage caused by explosive economic activity and the booming retail sector. The U.S. Mint responded by massively increasing the production of circulating coinage, and crucially, removed mint marks that year on nickels to discourage hoarding by collectors chasing specific branch issues. Thus, every circulating Jefferson nickel from 1964 carries no mint mark by deliberate design, making them historically tied to a government response to economic stress. Their place in the Jefferson series is therefore not merely chronological, but policy-reflective, a coin stamped during an active, official effort to alter collecting behavior. The 1964 Jefferson nickel retains the familiar sculptural portrait of Thomas Jefferson by Felix Schlag on the obverse, a classical, left-facing bust framed by the mottos, "In God We Trust" and "Liberty," followed by the date. The reverse bears the stately Monticello elevation, with E pluribus unum above and 5 cents, United States of America below. The coin was struck in a 75% copper/25% nickel homogeneous alloy, measuring 21.2 millimeters and weighing 5 grams. What gives special distinction to high-grade specimens is not design novelty, but strike execution and surface quality. Mirror-like fields, precision detail on Jefferson's hair and Monticello's steps, and the absence of contact ticks that ruin top-tier classification. The 1964 nickel is not rare. It was one of the highest mintage nickel years in U.S. history. But the rarity reveals itself only in the top of the grading ladder. Most coins were heavily bag-handled, circulated aggressively, or struck on worn dies. Truly exceptional pieces in MS-66 and MS-67 with full steps, FS, designations are essentially conditional anomalies. That condition rarity is what separates a pocket change coin worth 5 cents from a certified example worth hundreds or thousands, depending on surface preservation, strike sharpness, and technical grading. This makes the 1964 nickel a textbook case of how population scarcity at the extreme end of grading drives staggering premiums. Buyers chasing serious value should focus only on third-party certified coins, PIECE GS and GC, ideally with full steps designations if investment is the goal. Study the Monticello staircase detail under magnification. Incomplete or mushy steps disqualify FS certification. Avoid raw cherry picks, unless you are highly trained in strike quality and have direct return privileges. Protect high-grade coins in inert holders, control for humidity, and never attempt cleaning. Acquisition routes include heritage auctions, reputable online dealers, and major shows, where comparison and provenance can be evaluated with confidence. One of the reasons the 1964 no-mint mark Jefferson Nickel continues to hold its position in the investment side of numismatics is because it carries a rare combination of high survival and low perfection. Markets prefer coins with a broad collector base, and Jefferson Nickels have that. But prices only accelerate when extremely few top-tier examples exist to satisfy that base. That is exactly the investment DNA of the 1964 nickel. Unlike key dates whose prices rely on inherent rarity, the ultra-grade 1964 nickel requires ongoing refinement of population reports, growing registry competition, and shrinking supplies of fresh high-end discoveries. Every time a coin is permanently encapsulated in a registry set, the available open market float shrinks, a silent but powerful force that pushes price curves upward over time. Numismatics is not just economics, it is psychology. The 1964 Jefferson Nickel appeals strongly to what many seasoned collectors value: the ability to master a common coin at an uncommon standard. There is prestige in capturing what others overlook, in owning the best of something that millions once touched casually. The full steps designation is not merely a technical detail, it is a status marker in the Jefferson community. Elite collectors use high-grade 1964 FS nickels to demonstrate competence, discernment, and commitment. The coin becomes not a piece of metal, but a credential, a statement of seriousness that resonates in auctions, trading circles, and registry leaderboards. One of the reliable litmus tests of a coin's legitimacy as a high-end collectible is whether it consistently performs in open auction, and the 1964 nickel does. Recorded sales show bidding wars erupt not because of nostalgia, but because liquidity is proven and repeatable. When investors see coins that repeatedly reach strong prices across multiple venues, they gain confidence that the asset class is not thin or speculative. This creates a feedback loop in which confidence generates participation, participation generates price discovery, and price discovery attracts new capital. In this environment, the 1964 nickel acts as a known commodity. Not a gamble, but a measurable marketplace instrument. The 1964 no-mint mark Jefferson Nickel remains relevant today because its story is still unfolding. The coin lives at the intersection of American economic history, precision numismatics, and competitive collecting culture. As grading technology improves, as registry wars intensify, and as generational wealth shifts into tangible historical assets, the demand for certified condition rarities is not fading. It is accelerating. This ensures that the 1964 nickel is not merely a vestige of a past crisis, but a living component of the modern numismatic economy. In other words, the chapter is not closed. The coin continues to write value, history, and prestige into the present marketplace. The 1964 Jefferson Nickel, without a mint mark, is a powerful demonstration of how numismatic value can be born not from rarity of existence, but rarity of perfection. Its historical anchor in a national coinage crisis, combined with the extreme difficulty of locating flawless survivors, ensures its lasting appeal among advanced collectors. While beginners may see a common date, the seasoned numismatist recognizes one of the most competitive conditional markets in modern American coinage. As demand persists in registry-set competition and premium condition hunting, the 1964 no-mint-mark Jefferson Nickel stands as both a historical artifact and a viable candidate for long-term numismatic appreciation. The extreme difficulty of locating flawless survivors ensures its lasting appeal among advanced collectors. While beginners may see a common date, the seasoned numismatist recognizes one of the most competitive conditional markets in modern American coinage. As demand persists in registry-set competition and premium condition hunting, the 1964 no-mint-mark Jefferson Nickel stands as both a historical artifact and a viable candidate for long-term numismatic appreciation.